You ever notice how the apps on your phone or your desktop just feel snappier, more powerful than the stuff you run in your web browser? Well, for years, that's been a huge, fundamental problem with the internet. Today, we're going to talk about the technology that was built to fix it once and for all: WebAssembly. Right. Let's just get straight to it, because this is something we've all felt. You're trying to edit some video or play a really intense game or maybe mess with a 3D model right there in your browser, and you can just feel it lagging compared to a native app. So, what's the deal? What's the bottleneck here? Well, it all goes back to what you could call a historical accident. See, the web as we know it was originally built with only one programming language in mind. And that language, it's JavaScript, of course. Now, JavaScript is amazing. It's become incredibly powerful. But it was created back when the web was basically just for sharing simple documents. Its core DNA was never really meant to handle the kind of heavy lifting modern apps demand. And what kind of heavy lifting are we talking about? Oh, just things that used to be completely impossible in a browser. We're talking in-browser video editors, complex scientific computing, and games that look like they belong on a console. These are the kinds of jobs that push traditional web tech to its absolute breaking point. Now, this isn't a new problem. People have been trying to solve this for decades, and WebAssembly didn't just pop up out of thin air. No, it's really the result of learning from some very clever but ultimately flawed earlier attempts. It was a whole journey of trial and error. First up, you had ActiveX from Microsoft. It was powerful for sure, but it was locked into one platform, and its security model was basically just trust us. Then came Google's native client, or NaCl. This thing was super fast, and it had a proper sandbox, a safe little playpen for code, but it was tied to specific computer chips and only worked in Chrome. And finally, we got ASM.js, which was this brilliant hack that basically tricked JavaScript into running faster. It worked everywhere, which was great, but it was still text, so it was bulky and not as efficient as it could be. Each one got us a little closer, but nobody had cracked the whole puzzle. So how do you finally solve a problem this big? A problem that stumped the entire industry for years? Well, you do something that almost never happens. You get all the biggest rivals in the world to actually agree on something. And this was the real game changer. You had engineers from Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, and Apple, all the big browser makers, sitting down together to build one single unified standard. This wasn't just another plugin, this was a brand new foundational language for the web, built by everyone, for everyone. Okay, so what is WebAssembly, or WASM, as everyone calls it? It's a low-level bytecode, but forget the jargon. The best way to think about it is like this. JavaScript is like a detailed instruction manual. The browser has to read it line by line and figure out how to build the thing. WASM, on the other hand, is like a pre-assembled kit. It shows up in a neat, compact box, and the browser can put it together way, way faster. So when they designed WASM, they focused on 4 key goals. You could call them WASM's 4 superpowers, the things that were absolutely non-negotiable to finally crack the web performance problem. First up, it had to be safe. WASM code runs inside its own secure little bubble. Its memory is totally walled off from the rest of the browser and from your computer. So even if a program is buggy or malicious, it can't escape its box. The worst it can do is mess up its own little area. Number 2, it had to be fast, like really fast. Because WASM is so structured, browsers can compile it super efficiently, giving you predictable, high performance from the get-go. There's no warm-up time like you sometimes get with JavaScript, where the engine is trying to optimize things on the fly. It's just fast, right away. Third, and this is crucial, it had to be portable. A developer can write their code, compile it to WebAssembly once, and know, with confidence, that it will run exactly the same on Chrome, on Firefox, on Safari, on your laptop, on your phone, everywhere. It's the ultimate write once, run anywhere. And finally, WASM is compact. Because it's a binary format, not text, the files are just way smaller. And smaller files mean faster downloads and quicker page loads. It's a better experience for everybody, plain and simple. Okay, so that's the promise, right? Safe, fast, portable, and compact. But does it actually deliver on those promises? Well, let's look at the data, because the numbers don't lie. Now, look at this. This is what's really incredible. What this chart shows is just how close WebAssembly gets to the performance of native code running directly on your machine. The research shows that on a lot of tasks, WASM is running within just 10% of native speed. For something running inside a web browser, that is an absolutely monumental leap forward. And what about compared to what came before it? The difference is huge. On average, WebAssembly runs a whopping 33.7% faster than ASM.js, that clever text-based hack. That's not a small improvement. That's a massive gain in raw speed. But remember, it's not just about running fast. It's about loading fast. And that compact binary format really makes a difference. On average, a WebAssembly file is 62.5% the size of the equivalent ASM.js code. To put it another way, it's almost 40% smaller. That means your browser downloads it that much faster. And this all brings us to the most important takeaway, the really big idea here. The researchers put it perfectly. WebAssembly isn't just another language for the web. It's more like a universal language for hardware. It's a portable target that can be run anywhere, on any device. And that means its potential goes way, way beyond just the browser. So where does all this leave us? It leaves us with a web where the old limits are starting to just disappear. With a safe, portable, near-native performance target built into every browser, the rulebook for what's possible online is being rewritten. We're about to see whole new classes of applications. We're talking in-browser virtual reality, complex AI tools, powerful scientific instruments, things that were just a dream a few years ago. WebAssembly gave the web a turbo boost. And the real question now is, what are we going to build with all that speed?